YouTube. How are you? Those of you that are catching me live or via the replay, I want to know who you are and where you're coming in from. Not just that, I want to say that I appreciate you catching this particular broadcast. I know I don't normally go live over on the YouTube channel, but I had to go live and share some great tidbits and information that's coming up, as well as listen. As a Speakeasy podcast host, I have been getting tons of messages, tons of emails and messages in my messenger, that part, DMs, all that stuff. Uh, asking me questions about the speaking industry. What does the speaking industry consist of? How do you get started? How do you gain exposure? And one of the things that I wanted to share was just the power of podcasting. Many speakers miss out on so many different opportunities simply because they do not understand just how valuable podcasting really is. So, that part. So, with that being said, hey, I have on my amazing shirt today, one of my faves. Always be yourself unless you can be a unicorn. And if you can be a unicorn, then be the unicorn. That part. Yeah. For those catching me for the first time, I am a speaker, author, podcaster, of course, host of the Speakeasy podcast, award-winning speaker, best-selling author, those things, wonderful, blah, 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 yada, yada. But I've been really digging in deep when it comes to my brand as a speaker within the last 3 years, which has been really crazy. If you think about the industry and what has happened in just entrepreneurship in the last 3 years, the boom that has occurred, the opportunities that have opened up within the last 3 years have been phenomenal. Now, podcasting has gone on for some time, but I'm here to share with you just how you can use it in your speaking brand. That being said, so you ready? You ready? Ready? Let's start with number one. Number one is I want you to understand that as a podcast host, I have been able to utilize my podcast to gain access to more speaking opportunities, to um, set myself in a niche as an expert in my industry. I've been able to use it to sell tickets to events, sell tickets to courses and programs, or sell memberships and so many different things, right? Sell books. And many of you are going to say, well, I don't, I'm nervous. I don't really want to do a podcast interview, or I'm scared about starting a podcast. So, for those of you that have been saying you're scared, you're nervous, you're shy, all of the wonderful things that pop up, here I am to help you. Let me help you. I am an introvert. Yes, I'm an introvert. I've always been behind the scenes. I've always been that motivator and that pusher. I did not think that I was going to be the face of my brand until 2016, when I made a huge decision. Well, 2015 was when I made the decision. 2016 was when I put it into action, and becoming the face of my brand. And that meant speaking during more events. That meant going and traveling. That meant networking. A lot of peopling. There has been a lot of. But with that being said, I have gained access to some amazing people and some amazing opportunities. And with everything that I've done, as well as being the host of my own podcast, I've been able to go and connect with so many different speakers and authors on so many different levels when it comes to the speaking platform. I say all that to say you can be using a podcast platform, either your own or someone else's, because I do believe in OPA, which is other people's audiences, other people's audiences, other people's audiences. I do believe in OPA, and I believe that can provide a great market for you to be able to connect with potential clients and potential customers. So, number one, as with me being able to be a podcast host, I can tell you that the number one thing that it has allowed me to do is networking. I've been able to connect with some amazing people. I've had some powerhouses come on as guests on the podcast, from the CEO of Zero Shoes, shout out, how you doing? Uh, Sean Douglas, some of the greats. We just recently did an interview with the founder of 120 Design, which is Marshall Fox. And, just those who have been able to create their business and they're expanding with books or speaking or both. And it always, uh, makes me smile because everybody who always comes onto the platform is always nervous. They're like, what questions are you going to ask? How long is it going to be? Like, they're so nervous. But these are the things that are going to get you away from that nervousness. Is number one, how do you network? Not only networking with the host, but networking with those who are in the OPA, other people's audiences. Some great ways for you to be able to network is to be able to offer a gift to them. Invite them to come and meet you on a live stream after the event, things of that nature. But as a speaker, it allows us to, again, get in front of other people who may be looking for our industry when it comes to speaking. So I've been on other people's podcasts and done interviews, and they've invited me to be a guest speaker at their event. I've had people on my platform that have gone and said, "Well, I'm doing a mastermind, and I would love for you to do to train for my mastermind." This is a part of the process. Some people love it, some people don't. But I can tell you that it's a great part of the process because it allows you to take yourself a little further outside of your comfort zone without going completely outside of your comfort zone. Because imagine when you're doing a podcast, it's you and that person. Unless you do it live, which I do live stream my podcast interviews. Not everybody live stream podcast interviews. I know many of you have saw, Gary V. You think, oh my goodness, I can't get in front of a camera. That's not the only way that you can do an interview, which is something that I teach and train in our Podcast for Success course. We currently have the beta testers testing it out. So if you are interested in joining the beta testers for creating, launching, and marketing your own podcast, go to bit.ly/my new show, and you'll get much more information about that. So when I decided that I was going to do these interviews and, not even thinking that it was going to give me this platform, it definitely allowed me to network and get my name out there, especially with me being fresh in the industry. Me having these different interviews allowed me, even when I was not pitching to somebody who was a podcaster or, who already knew me, if I was pitching to someone else, I was able to use that podcast interview and send it out with an email so that way people could see or hear, depending on which platform you're on, see or hear, the interview. And again, it allows you to stand and be the expert in the industry. So that's number one. Number two is marketing. And I know this is like a no duh type moment for most people, but you are able to market in multiple ways. Your freemium, which is a free item that you give to people that brings them into your funnel. A course, a webinar. Webinars work really well because if you do a webinar and it is connected to the topic of interest that you just shared, people go bananas because they want more. They're like, gimme, gimme, gimme more. That's what they're doing, right? In my mind, that's what they're doing. I don't know. You may not be as like you may not be one of those creatives that just kind of, picture whole movies in your mind, but I definitely am. Uh, but it allows you to market not only your products and services, but market yourself as a speaker and a brand. Um, that means that as you're speaking, people are listening to you, your mannerisms. They're looking at your posture. They're looking at these things because if they're going to have you on their stage, they want to see what it is they're getting. Now, some of you may say, but when I'm talking on an interview, it's not the same. It is the same. There should be no way that you interact with people on a stage any different than when you're interacting with them on a podcast interview. When I'm interacting with them on a podcast interview, it's the same exact thing. It's all a matter of me showing up. Y'all know my most famous things are show them who you are, who you serve, and how you serve. And when you get into a position to where you can show up and show that, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you're always going to show that. And that's what leads people to know, like, and trust you, which we know leads people to buy because people buy from who they know, like, and trust. That part is valuable and important. And then it leads me to number three. So when we said networking was number one, number two was marketing, and then number three is content. And one of the things that I share out when it comes to having your own podcast and or going and being a guest on other people's podcasts is the content. So many people think I can't do a podcast interview because I don't have enough content. There's content everywhere. But not only that, when you do the interview, that's more content for you. Yes. As a speaker, it's more content. If you're a speaker and you're doing interviews, there are conversations that you will have during that interview that will spark something that you can share when you do your next speech. There are conversations that happen during the interview that bring up something that you may not know that you may need to go research. That's content. Stop thinking and overthinking it. You do not have to have it all in order and all perfect in order for you to launch. That part. Again, we're doing a beta tester. It's a 7-week course for Podcast for Success. If you come and join us, bit.ly/, my new show, all lowercase, bit.ly/ my new show, in order for you to join our beta testers and to start your own podcast, start your own show. And one of the things that I love about podcast interviews, as opposed to doing an event, is that with a podcast interview, people tend to stay throughout the whole interview, which is really different compared to the live streaming platform. Because with live streaming, you have people that may come in and out. They may be at work, they may be doing something or taking care of kids. And so it's kind of like an in and out. It's not necessarily where they stay still, they stay put, but you get their attention. When you do a podcast, literally they stay pretty much to the end, and whatever the podcast host suggests, they normally will go out and buy. So many of you have been saying that you're ready to sell more products, and you're ready to sell more of your books, you're ready to sell more courses, you want to fill out you want to have your next course or your next webinar 100% full. Well, how many interviews have you done? And again, with every interview, you learn and you grow. Every single one. Because guess what? It's practice. You can record your interviews whenever you want. You can do live interviews. The ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. It's just a matter of you stepping in and saying, you know what, coach, I'm ready to be in the game. So with that being said, I just wanted to come over and hop and give you this quick little moment. Those of you who have not done so already, please come and join us over in the Facebook community. Hashtag World Voice League. Hashtag World Voice League. Hashtag World Voice League. We would love to see what you are doing and to be able to support you and help you to have your voice heard over on Facebook. That's bit.ly/World Voice Community. Guess what, guys? We have some great things in store, and you are going to be seeing more content on the channel soon. So by all means, make sure that you have clicked the subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on anything that's coming your way. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.